Whether you're taking a business trip or a pleasure trip, whether you're traveling across town or across country, and whether you're going by subway, by bus, or by streetcar, the job of moving you from here to there, the job of mass transit, calls for dedicated, highly skilled workers. If you're riding Washington's sleek new metro rail system, Toronto's widely acclaimed subway, San Francisco's BART, or Chicago's venerable L, if you're taking a bus cross-city, traveling from town to town, or coast to coast, or commuting to work, or sending your children off to school on those familiar yellow buses, getting you where you're going safely and conveniently requires the proper blend of professionalism, patience, and a commitment to public service. Qualities best exemplified by the 165,000 men and women of the Amalgamated Transit Union, the professionals who keep people in Canada and the United States on the move. Working conditions for early day transit workers were, at best, appalling. Their wages for 60 to 90-hour work weeks were equally miserable. Despite these facts, initial attempts by the workers in 1861 and 1889 to join together to improve their employment standards were short-lived and limited in their successes. Then, in the summer of 1892, American Federation of Labor President Samuel Gompers called a meeting of transit workers for the purposes of forming a union. Out of this meeting, on September 15, 1892, the Amalgamated Association of Street Railway Employees of America, the present-day ATU, was born. However, the delegates to this meeting voted not to affiliate with the AFL. But that decision was reversed the following year when the new union held its convention and elected to join the Federation. The delegates to this convention also elected William D. Mahone as president. During the more than 52 years he held that post, Mahone prodded, cajoled, battled, and led the union to prominence in the labor movements of the United States and Canada. Under Mahone's leadership, the Amalgamated became the first trade union to adopt the promotion of arbitration as a peaceful means of settling labor management disputes, a policy still in effect today. In those early days, transit motormen worked 18-hour days, all the while exposed to the elements. But the horses which pulled the cars only worked 4-hour days, because, according to management, it costs money to replace horses. After witnessing the deaths from exposure of a number of members, the Amalgamated finally secured passage of the Vestibule Acts. These laws required companies to provide an enclosed cab for vehicle operators. In the ensuing years, the Amalgamated registered many other firsts for organized labor, including the first employer-financed life insurance and sickness and disability benefits, negotiated by Local 388 in Newburgh, New York. And ATU Local 1063 in Pittsburgh had the distinction of arguing the first case ever heard before the National Labor Relations Board. As the cities became the centers of activity and began to grow and expand, so too did mass transit. And the Amalgamated kept pace with this growth. With this expansion came many of the problems which today still plague many of our cities, including the all too familiar traffic jams. To alleviate the congestion on city streets, transit planners sought alternative means of transporting people, giving birth to the elevated and the subway. Then came the Depression, and transit workers, like everyone else, fell on hard times, which were to last until near the end of World War II. Veteran ATU member Wendy Christer of Local 1098 recalls those days.
When I first started driving a bus, I worked a run from Washington, D.C. to Greensboro, North Carolina. We worked 3 round trips, which involved 6 days. Then you were off a round trip, 2 days. Salary was $17.50 a week. In about 2 years, we did get a $5 raise to $22.50. In those days, when we finished the run, the buses didn't go through like they go through now. We'd actually go back and pull seats up in the bus, hoping that some man had slouched down in the seat and maybe lost a dime or a nickel behind the seats. That plus the rest stops that we made, they usually fed the driver at no charge. It was rough going. We didn't have air conditioning. We used to take cardboard and tie it on the side window to funnel the air in on you. And anybody worked a night run, everybody thought bus drivers had heart trouble because they were swinging the arm around like a baseball pitcher. It was aching from cold in the shoulder.
The years immediately after World War II saw an upswing in the fortunes of mass transit and transit workers. But the period of prosperity lasted only a few years. It wasn't until the late 1950s and early 60s, when many transit systems went from private to public ownership, that transit workers started to reap equitable rewards for their labors. And with passage of the Urban Mass Transit Act of 1964, which included the ATU-sponsored Section 13C job protections, these workers finally achieved certain guaranteed job rights. The oil crises of the 1970s contributed significantly to an even wider acceptance and use of mass transit as a necessary public service. The ATU once again saw its numbers grow, and its goals of better wages and working conditions for its members were realized more and more. Getting here was not easy, but the ATU persevered, and today its members enjoy some of the best wages and working conditions in the United States and Canada. And many members appreciate those facts.
Thank goodness for Union, ATU, which I've been a member of for a number of years. Things are, today, we have a wonderful pension plan. We have wonderful medical benefits, vacation, sick leave, the whole works. And some of the young fellows today, of course, naturally they don't know what went on before they joined this great organization, the ATU. But believe me, we were sweatshops in this business for the union. ATU, we got in and got us going. I think our local here, our charter is 1942, I believe. Thereabouts, around World War II's time, and thanks to them, the ATU, they have done it, and people here at my age that are still here, they tell you the same story.
Oh, without the union, forget it. We'd be down a hole, we're down the tubes, because we see other bus companies that don't have ATU, and they're always fighting for their money, for their benefits. They don't have what we have. It's a real, I appreciate really what they've done. We never would have it if it wasn't for 1181 ATU.
When I first started with the company back in 1961, the wages were $90 a week. Okay, that was something like a little bit over $3 an hour. Okay, right now, our wages have increased up something like $8. We are making $11.32 an hour, and the union has played a real big part in increasing our salaries over the past 22 years.
Wages-wise, Christ, you know, we're making a pretty good wage now. We could be making better, but the bloody government put a restraint on us, which we're not too happy about that. Benefits, you know, we got good benefits. Hope to get more, but we're doing okay as it is now. Safety program, they're fighting for the safety program with, mandatory glasses, safety shoes. These things were all gained through the union efforts for us. Without union representation, for instance, we're making $13.27 right now as a repair mechanic. Christ, we'd probably be making some places in the city, they're making $5-6 an hour. So, because of the union, we're making those wages.
The gains that we have got, I contributed 100% to our unions. Division 1,300 and over the country. If it hadn't been for them, not only us, all over the country would be working for peanuts. We'd be working for $3 to $3.50 an hour. Believe me, okay, that's about what the minimum wage is, and that's what we'd be getting. The company wouldn't give us nothing, and hospitalization, all the benefits we have got, vacations and all. We didn't have it when I first started around here like we got now, and I contributed all to our unions.